Welcome to Conversations with Dipal. I am your host, Dipal Shah. Okay, so hello everyone. I'm excited to be here, and my guest today is Shakti Kee Maya. And we will talk to her in just a bit, but let me go ahead and introduce myself to those of you who do not know me. My name is Dipal, and for all of you who are new to my work, I am a medical intuitive, and I bring together science and spirituality to help people all around the world with different kinds of health problems, in addition to teaching a wonderful modality called Quantum Body Awakening, so that you can learn to open up to your own spiritual gifts. To learn more about this, you could go to my website at ananda4life.com, and you can click on Learn to Become a Medical Intuitive. While you're there, you can grab my stress-free relief guide. And I know a lot of people may be experiencing that at this time. No matter what's going on in your life, there may be a little bit of stress or a lot of bit of stress. So grab that stress relief guide. It's going to help you extensively at this time and even down the road in the future. If you want to connect with me, there are many, many ways. You can catch me on YouTube, so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, here on Facebook, as well as my podcast. And you can find that podcast page with all the episodes at ananda4life.com. You can just listen to all the previous episodes. So what is going on in the world is really a challenging time as days go by. And today, Shakti Kee Maya is going to share with us, is chaos my friend or foe? She is the chaos whisperer, and I'm so excited to have her here. You know, some people find they get drowned into the chaos where they forget to create. We are all creators. We are master creators. However, we get caught up in the chaos, and this creates tension in our body, it creates tension in our mind, but can it be our friend? So that's exactly what we're going to learn today with our special guest, who's going to walk us through this and share with us how we can become friends with chaos and do it quickly. Her amazing process is going to take us through a wonderful experience. And so please do stay till the end. And I want to thank you, Shakti Kee Maya, for being here with us today. It's such an honor to have you here. And so please do say hello to all of our viewers here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. This is a treat. I really appreciate, I love being able to share about chaos. It truly is something that speaks to my heart. As much as I don't like the results of it sometimes, chaos is extremely misidentified. Extremely misidentified. It is actually a positive word, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we need to, I think right now we all want to know how to find positive in the chaos. And I think some people are recognizing it, but I think it's up and down, right? As days go by, I think, you know, sometimes you'll feel a high and you're okay in the chaos, but then sometimes you'll feel a low. And so I know you can help us get through this by sharing your techniques and tips and advice on how to get us through this every day where we're not having those highs and lows, right? We just are. So first of all, I love hearing people's story. And I know I mentioned that earlier, like I love to hear how you got here and you know, with your work. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became known as the Chaos Whisperer.
Well, I could say I've always been different.
I think a lot of people out there can agree.
A lot of people
feel the same way.
You know, I definitely did not fit in. I had two parents that I definitely did not fit in, and I really believe that the level of darkness that I came from them, I believe that that was the training ground for me, and all of the difficulties and challenges that I had growing up truly is the probably the contract that I came in. And I definitely had the experience of doing the opposite of whatever showed up for me. I did find myself always looking for the other side to everything that they showed me. And inside of all of that, um, I've coined it in some ways as the diabolical suffering. There's a black hole that I was marinated in early on, like at birth, and, and throughout my whole childhood and into my marriage. And there's a lot of awareness that I had at a very early age. I always had awareness. I really did. And I would always hear things that were like a present energy. And I just never had words for it until I got into, well, there are two things that I did. In my late 20s, which is a couple of years ago.
Just yesterday.
I got into something called voice dialogue, and it was a training with learning how to converse with people from a fair witness and dialoguing with an emotion. So whether it was anger or fear or whatever personality, it was learning a way to communicate with someone in a way that they could be heard and I would be in a non-judgmental space. I think Sid and, I forget their names, it was so long ago, Sid and someone else, their work, voice dialogue, was very profound at creating a foundation for me, which then worked into the body dialoguing. So I did a lot of body processes. I've done a lot of body work for people, and hands-on is what I really love to do. And in that, I would hear the body talking to me, and it became the body whispers. And as I embarked on, I think about in 2013, 2014, I began asking a question every day for a whole year. I would ask it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even in my dreams. And the question was, what would someone who loves himself do? And it was an extremely potent question to be asking, to learn about self-love through a process of tapping into your intuition and bypassing whatever my mind is saying, and then I would do it. And so I painted a lot. I wrote a book. I wrote a couple of books. I published a book of poetry. I had a lot of creation came through me at a very grandiose way. It was like just never ending. And I went through so many journals, and I think I made like 60 or 70 paintings in a very short period of time. And it was an overflowing of something. And it was also a very vulnerable time, and it was a very intense time. I accelerated things dynamically. And in that, I learned a forgiveness practice, and I learned to trust myself more, and I learned how to show up differently. And so in that healing process, and in the body work I did, and in the coaching that I've done over the last 3 or 4 years, because I've been working as a healer and as a clairvoyant and as a clairsentient. I mean, there isn't anything I channel everything. I've been doing this probably for over 30 years.
Wow.
And so I have developed what people say is very laser. I am very laser-like. And I hear things within 5 seconds. I know what it is within seconds. I can see the stranding in the body. I hear the words. And so I've put it together in a way that really can shape shift and transform people. And in the conversations that we'll have throughout what is the chaos, it'll develop, as you can see, where I've brought this into the work that I do in the world.
Yeah.
which is very globally. I work with people in New Zealand and in Australia and in the States and in Canada and Mexico, like all over. The internet has offered a gift of that.
That's the beauty, right, of our work. And that's the beauty of energy. And
It's all energy. It is.
exactly. When you believe that everything is energy and energy is everything.
I believe that, and I have believed. Like, did you ever see the movie Powder?
I didn't.
It is it's an albino man, and he had, this was like in the 80s. I mean, it was a long time ago. He had abilities with lightning, with electricity. And the first time I saw that movie, I was young, and I really connected to it. And I understand the lightning, the electricity that goes through me, and the grounding that's required for me, and the expansion that I have tapped into the universes. I tap into some multiverses that really, people just love the information that comes from me because it's spot on. Like, there isn't anyone that doesn't come to me that is like, I can't believe how spot on you were. I'm like,
Yes. Yes. Speaking of movies, I love movies. And the interesting thing is, over the last couple of years, when I got into energy healing, when I started doing more energy healing, all those movies like X-Men and all those superhero movies, I never would have watched them. Never would I even have thought about watching them. But now I relate to them. Like, it's the wildest thing. Like, I can actually see those superpowers, and I see what
right.
they're talking about. Even Star Wars. Did you know
Brene Brown said something really profound years ago. I had taken her Gifts of Imperfection program that she did with Oprah, and she asked, what is your superpower? And how do you know it's your superpower? What is the kryptonite? And so when she did that, I actually could see where it was that was my kryptonite, and that started really honing in what it was that I was using against me, which is
That's awesome. I think everybody could use that exercise. What is your superpower? What is your kryptonite? And when we can recognize that, guess how much more that can open up, right? So here's the thing, like, as the chaos whisperer, how do you define creation?
well, it's interesting because I don't know if I would separate the word chaos and creation. I feel like they are one and the same. And all creation is the result of chaos. And when people are experiencing chaos, they forget that they are creating. And creating is the pulling together of the elements that are seemingly disconnected and bringing those elements to the desired outcome. And as this, as a chaos whisperer, I offer this clarity and support and guidance and ease in attaining, these outcomes. And so creation is going on all the time, whether you are aware of it or not. Boredom and no action is creating. No choice is creating. Being stuck is creating. People have no idea that being stuck. It's like when I ask people, what are they afraid of? And they say, I don't know. And I say, oh, you're afraid of the unknown. It's like so in your face and so obvious that you don't see it. And so when you are in the place of believing that you're not creating, you're actually creating. And so the question I ask is, are you participating in it or not? And so people who are hearing this have chosen to consciously upgrade themselves. Otherwise they wouldn't be listening, right?
Right. I agree.
And so I've strung together like these words of like consciousness creates money, money creates money, money creates choice, choice creates self-empowerment, self-empowerment creates joy, and joy creates the path to enlightenment. And so it's like you have this path, and each step of the path is going to be, is this the right path I'm on? Is it path or distraction?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Thanks.
I think a lot of people are going to resonate with this because right now, a lot of people are maybe feeling stuck, you know, and
There's a lot of helplessness going on.
yeah,
There's a lot of there's a lot of need to look outside of themselves to make sure that they know what they need to know. And my best advice is to stop looking outside for that information, because it's not going to be consistent. And the more inconsistency you hear, and the longer this goes on, looking outside of yourself is going to spin you out instead of ground you. And so the fear, the collective fear, the particle charge that's in the air that people feel, is where you place your significance. Where do you place your significance? I have this way of, like, wherever you sign yourself over to something else, you've given your power away. And then everybody else outside of you is going to fail you.
yeah, beautifully put. I, you know, if we are creating, right, all the time, what happens when we are creating what we don't want and creating pain? Because that's what I work with a lot, you know,
Right.
pain. And so what's your thought on this?
Well, pain, if you can be a witness to pain and not be in the my pain, but if you can be a witness to pain, you'll see it's about attachment. And it's like, so where are you attached? And what is it is truly an attachment thing. And so it's where you're hooked into whatever your outcome, your conclusion, what your expectations. There's a lot of expectations going on right now, and there's a lot of conclusions going on. So whether you are unconscious and unaware, or if you are conscious and aware, all of those, both sides of the coin, I'm going to say one is awareness is on one side and unawareness is on the other side. They're both feeding creation. And our words create, especially if it's a want. And it's always, if it's a want, it's always projected into a future. And it is always an arm's length away.
Mm.
Always. As long as you want it, you will never have it. And as long as you're in the deficiency of not having it, then you can't have it, because you've already claimed not having it. You've already made a declaration that I don't have it. Therefore, the universe shows up for you without the having it of it.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's how I see how things work. So if you have a strong desire with curiosity, with allowance, and with gratitude, you'll notice that what you ask for shows up quicker and cleaner. Always. And so this is what congruency is about. And this is, excuse me, congruency is the alignment with my voice. That's not all the time. People don't want to hear this, I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
Congruency is the alignment of words and action with source, or words and inspired action with source. And so I have this whole program, an enrichment program that I call Baby Steps, the Magic of Congruency. And I help bring people into being conscious creators. And it's really dynamic. And it's a year program. And I've taken many, many people through many, many years. And it's ongoing.
That's awesome. So when you were talking about all this, I had gone to Food Lion earlier today, and it was, I don't know if I was meant to be there at that time or whatever, but there were two of the people who work there talking. It was two men. And it was interesting to see two men talk about this. But this guy was telling this other guy who was younger about energy. And he was actually saying, well, if you keep thinking negative, you're going to create negative. And that's why you're feeling this way. And that other guy's like, well, yeah, but I feel like sometimes I can't help it. I think positive and I try to stay positive, you know, and I was just listening in just because it was interesting to me that how the world is starting to shift, you know, like people are starting to become more conscious, and some people do want to create and be part of the creation.
Right.
And then others are resisting it, right? They want to be a part of it. So they step in, they step back out. They step in, step back out. And it's like, step in, you
Right.
know?
Well, there's so much fear of being wronged. There's so much judgment. There's so much anticipation of it not being right, not being good enough. It's like the anticipation of playing is encapsulated in a desire that's locked inside or locked outside of them. And I am always amazed at how humans all carry the same bottom line stories of it. I don't like, they all like, because I have so many people that I have asked the same question to, you know, what are your top 10 excuses for this? And what are your and what's your biggest fear? And universally, they are all the same. They're all the same. You know, I always say there's like a primary and a secondary, and all of those are secondary. And then there's this primary one.
Right.
And the primary one is usually about feeling wrong. You know, I live in the wrongness of, because we're different and because we're this, and then we beat ourselves up. And then it just is like, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point now, because you are desiring that which you cannot have. And so you have to have evidence, and you're looking for evidence everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. You know, now that with the COVID going on in the world, what would you say regarding this chaos, you know, that we're experiencing at this time? How can we create in this chaos? What would you want to tell people?
Well, it's probably not what they're expecting. You have to remember, chaos is creation. Chaos is it's not empty, and it's not no thing, and it's not nothing, and it's not the void. It's the moving particles. It's the generative energy that is like it generates your life. And so if you are not lit up, you are not going to have much spark in your life. You're going to be feeling kind of depressed. And so during this time of chaos, people are learning just what it means about finding their own map and navigating this internal process as where the treasure is. And so I see that this is like a great opportunity. And the thing is, there's so much fear and grief that has been stirred up from this, that it's created an incredible veil. And this veil it's that particle charge. Like, I can go into town and get a sense of just how thick the charge is in the air. I mean, and it's the polarization is getting bigger, and the separation is getting bigger, and nobody is realizing that the separation is also inside, and that you have to kind of turn it inward in order for there to be an awakening. And so as this veil is keeping us from seeing and accessing their own treasure, the collective infrastructure is being asked to awaken. It is being asked to shift, and it is being asked to grow in a way never seen before. And so we are being called to a greater self, raising our frequencies and healing the planet.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. What would you say if someone wanted to go from unconscious creating to conscious creating? Because most of the time people are not consciously creating, right? We only use 1% of our conscious mind and 99% of our subconscious mind. So
Well, it depends on how alive you want to be. You know, I personally choose living in my magic, and living in my magic, and living in my magic. I choose the magic. Magic, please. Because I have had a life of the other. I had a life of being suppressed and silenced and encapsulated and miserable and addicted to the suffering and addicted to the trauma and addicted to the anger and addicted to the fear. That's who I was. If I showed you a before and after picture of me, you would not recognize me. You would say that that was my mother. You'd be like mother-daughter relationship. And so when I show people my before and after photos, I look 20 years younger, which is it's a choice that I made. And so if you're looking to go from unconscious to conscious, it starts with refining your ask. What is it that you want to ask? And not all asks are equal. Some asks have a period at the end. And so they're created out of conclusion, and they're created out of expectations. That's not a true ask. Remember, let's go back to what we talked about earlier, the curiosity, the gratitude, and the allowance. Asking from a place of that is going to bring you into a place of receiving. Yeah. And so, is your ask ugly? Is it messy? Does it create suffering? Or how much judgment is on it? Or are you willing to flip it and be the congruency of fun and joy and stop having it work against you? And all asks they all create, however you may not realize that it might not be a clean ask. You know, in my baby step class, the very first class, I clean up their ask, I take the fat out of it. It's like, if you could have anything right now, what is it? And then they give their ask, and I'm just like, oh. Like, okay, we got to work out, let's find the magic in your ask. And it needs to spark, and it needs to be bright, and you need to know that this is where you're going to make that shift. And developing the perfect ask it's important, because if you cannot do that, then you cannot receive it. And if you can't receive it, then you'll be in the cesspool of all of the poo, the points of order that everybody has about what's going on.
Yeah. That's wonderfully put, the ask. Now I'll be thinking about all my asks. So thank you for sharing that. And I know you have a wonderful process that you want to share with everyone here and all of those who are here live with us. I want to thank you guys for being here. Do say hello, and if you would like to accept and receive the energies, do say yes, or I'd like to receive. And even if you're listening to the replay, the energies will be infused within this call. So
I've done a lot of these, and I do a lot of replays and radio shows and interviews, and it's all there. The energy is all there. It's timeless.
So will you explain us the process and then go into the process at this time?
Well, I show up. That's the process. The process is tapping into the people that are listening, and the future people that are listening, and the people that are asking for a conscious shift. This is you being in the awareness of where it is that you're going to be 3 years from now. You can, if you need to do it further out, or if you need to, I wouldn't do it less than 3 years. You need to detach yourself from the conclusion of what you think is happening, and you need to suspend yourself just for a moment that will give you the key or the link that's going to set you forward into a forward motion, like the North Pole, or the North Star. You're being asked to derive at a destination in your future. And I'm going to take you there. I'm going to walk you through that in a second. But that is the point. We're going to look for a word when we're over there. So I like to start with the rainbow, because the rainbow is my language. Whatever that is, I have the ability to speak rainbow, which is really yummy because it comes through my hands. And so, because I've done lots and lots of body processes, and I work that. So I'm gonna send out an energy of a rainbow light that goes from my hand to your heart. And I want you to see a mirror like a prism, not so much a mirror. I want you to see like a prism that's got like lots and lots of crystal cuts. And I'm going to send the rainbow light to your prism inside your heart, and it's going to radiate, and it's going to break into hopefully 1,000,000 different rainbows into your whole body, because we're going to turn you into a rainbow body. And I'm using and I'm using the heart as your access point. Sometimes I use the bottom of your feet or your third eye or your hands. This particular thing for this particular ask for this particular COVID-19 on the other side is designed for you through this. So we're going to work with the heart. So take a deep breath. Let's just, here, this is going to be great. I have my little, you're going to like this. We're going to set the pace. So we're going to breathe in for a count of 4. From the floor up to our heart, we're going to breathe in, feeling it fill up in our lungs and into our heart. We're going to hold a breath count for 2, and we're going to breathe out for a count of 6. So your breathing is not, it's not square, but we are holding and then releasing. So let's breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 2, and release for a count of 6.
I don't know if that's too close because it's making a really loud sound.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's too close to the microphone.
Oh, it is.
But it's beautiful.
I did that on purpose.
Oh, got it. Okay, I just want to make sure.
I did that on purpose. So that's making space between the space. We're trying to access the heart without the particles. So I'm breaking up the space. So sound currency, sound frequencies are a fast way to expand. And so I want you to open up your heart and receive the rainbow light from my hand to your heart, and allow a prism to catch it, all of the rays of the rainbow and the light, and let it fragment to all the parts of your body, all the molecules. Let them be a direct magnet to all of the golden molecules in your body, down your spine, to the bottoms of your feet, to the top of your head and out your crown chakra, through your arms, through your hands, having it weave itself in and out of the organs, and allow yourself to be infused with this rainbow light or rainbow magic, however you see it. And I would like you to visualize yourself 3 years from now, if that's the number that works for you. If it's 5 years from now, but no less than 3. And I want you to be facing the you now. So whichever direction the person in the future is, I want her or him to be facing the now you. And we're going to create a bridge. We're going to have this rainbow bridge that has infused our body. We're going to create a strand of light to the heart of the future you. And we're going to strand all of the rainbow colors so that there's this bridge that connects you into your future self. And I'm going to ask your future self to find a word that required, whatever it is that got you through this crazy time, through this chaotic time. I want you to pick a word that was the word that did it for you. And that word, I'd like you to speak from that person in your future. I would like you to speak that word and let it flow to the now you. Let it embody you from the top of your head down to the bottom of your feet. Allow yourself to be, know, receive, and embrace with total joy and total grace, the ecstasy and the bliss and the breathing space that this word is creating for you, knowing that this word is exactly what was required for you to make it through these troubled times. And I'd like you to hold your solar plexus or your belly button, put one hand on it, and I would like you to anchor it into your body. I'd like you to say the word within your mind or out loud, however the word is showing up for you. I'd like you to demand it, declare it, own it, accept it, receive it, whatever it is for you. I'd like you to embody that word through the touch of your hand on your belly button or your solar plexus. So that way, whenever you are finding yourself in a difficult spot, you can touch this spot and ask it to activate. So right now we are infusing it into your body. We're anchoring it so that it's activated so that you may have it at any moment in your life that you need it, even in your sleep. The awake and the dream, the dreamer and the dream, the awakened dream. In the dream field, the collective dream field, we are embodying the collective dream field and we're weaving it through the rainbow bridge, and we're creating a tapestry, and we're going to thread it into our heart, into our solar plexus, into our crown chakra, into all the areas that there's space to receive it. So wherever you're unwilling to receive it, would you release and let that go, please? And everywhere you're wronging yourself for the choice word that you have, and you're doubting it, and you're in denial of it, or whatever that is, would you release that? Release it, release it, release it. Let it go. There's no space for judgment right now. You are embodying your future you, and you're anchoring this perfect word for you. And now I'm going to have you seal up the portal that was just opened. We're going to bring back in the rainbow light into our heart, and we're going to allow it to bathe ourselves from the head to our toes. We're going to bathe every molecule. We're going to bathe you in this golden elixir. The golden molecules, they're waking you up. They're like effervescing, and they're tingling, and you can feel them from the top of your head, down your spine, into your hands, into your feet, bringing life into your body, sparking you. And at any moment that you would like to activate your word and ask how to work with your word, how to create with your word, how to be congruent with your word, how to align with inspired action, connecting to source to make it so. And everything that doesn't allow you to know, be, receive, and be the existence embodiment of that new choice activation. Let's release and let go. Release and let go. Release and let go. Universe, show me the magic of me. Universe, show me the magic of me. And everything that doesn't allow that, release and let go. And when you're ready, you can come back to your third eye and touch it with your hand or your finger, giving it a slight massage. You can slowly come back.
That was beautiful. I always knew Rainbow Bright was my favorite character and show. Oh, how are you guys feeling? I loved this process. Thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. for those of you who are watching and sharing the space with us, please tell us how you're feeling right now. I feel like I'm on a cloud. I think I created a lot of space.
I bring space. I bring space to people. I open doors. I bring clarity. And so right now I have a special offer for, I do twice a year. I open up something I call an FMM. And, you know, people are like, what's an FMM? And I'm like, it's a fucking miracle maker. And so twice a year, you get to, if you've not ever worked with me, you get a chance to have a free session with me. And it's a miracle making session. And it allows you to access a door that you haven't had before. And I have that right now available on April 27th, 28th, and 30th, I believe. Or it's Sunday, Monday, and Thursday, whatever those days are. I'm not thinking number-wise. And so
how can people get in touch with you?
You can go to my website. It's shaktiawakening.net, and you'll see in the Book Me or Book Now, go to the scheduler, and you'll see the link for booking a FMM session. And you can see that I have a baby steps, the magic. Well, this particular one is called The Adventure Awaits, Walking into the New Frontier. And we are literally creating a new frontier. And so congruency is not like the language at the moment. Surviving the new frontier is. However, I guide you through your ask into it. And so I begin May 4th for the next launch, and it is limited to 10 people.
Awesome. Thank you. So it's shaktiawakening.com?
.net.
.net. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I actually have .com, and I'm not sure if it's connected yet.
Okay.
So right now it's .net.
Okay, got it. So I have some people here. Dimpy says, thanks, Shakti.
Oh, I love Dimpy. Hi, Dimpy.
That was beautiful. Iris says, feels amazing, love it. Theodosia says, feels spacey and wonderful. And again, Iris says, I would love that. Can you post the website? So I'll go ahead and post the website in the comments, and it is Shakti Awakening at, shaktiawakening.net.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right.
And I have on my website, I have a lot of free resources, and I have done a lot of Ho'oponopono for building the immune system, and I have an NFP process for removing shock at a cellular level. Then I walk you through about 7 different positions for clearing the shock out of your body.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. It has been a wonderful, wonderful time with you. And I know our community, everyone that's watching has also enjoyed this. I could feel the energy. So those of you who are going to be watching the replay, we invite you to this beautiful process and just listening to everything that Shakti Kee Maya has shared with us, because it was pretty profound for me. You know, just creating. And we were talking earlier about creating rather than getting caught in the chaos, even though the kids are home and maybe your spouse is home, you know, and who knows, other people in the house, you know, and things are not the way they were. And we've been spending this time creating, even with noise and piano lessons and whatever's going on online. So we want you to create. We want to help you create. So please do get in touch with her. And you guys know how you can get in touch with me at Dipal Shah at anandaforlife.com. I invite you to get a free consultation. It's a 15-minute consultation, and you can book it at Dipal Shah at Ananda for Life. So thank you so much. And until next time, guys, be safe and namaste. Thank you so much.
Thank you.